this class, we did like Jewish learning in a different way than we have ever before, or I have ever before, because it's more about like expressing it and less about just like learning it and getting the information.
I would say we learn to read something and then to be able to visualize it and then translate it into our own art pieces.
The way that students express themselves through art and create deeper connections with the things that they're studying is really what surprised me. Watching these kids get deeper and deeper connected into their faith through their artistic expression really shows the power of arts education.
I just thought it'd be painting, but there's a lot more that goes on in a painting than you think.
There are a lot of people in different types of ways of learning, and that it's one way to get people to express their feelings about Torah and to understand Torah's different parts is by doing it through something they like.
I'm not an art teacher. I would never, I have too much respect for artists to say that I'm an art teacher. But what I am is a Torah teacher, and these pieces of art represent very intense and profound thinking about the Torah topics that we were doing this year.
When you first read the ketubah, like I didn't think about the perfect, imperfect world, but then as I started like painting it, then I started to think deeper into it. And now I like have this whole message about texture and imperfect marriage that I didn't know when I just read the ketubah.
Graffiti art skills, and this is their abstraction of the concept of love, okay, and how this represents taking care of someone else and ultimate sacrifice. Through this beating heart and through the intensity of the colors that they chose. Here you have the ketubah, which is the like centerpiece of this graffiti art, which represented for them how the ketubah is all about the actions that a husband has to do for his wife, which hits upon the idea that we've been discussing, that true love is about sacrifice for the other.
Okay, so it's a heart, and it's broken up into different geometric shapes. So it's like little pieces that form the bigger picture, and once they're all together you can see the heart, but if you took some pieces away you wouldn't be able to get the overall picture. For a marriage, there's like a lot of different pieces that you have to do to like make it work, and there's a lot of different like little actions that you do and different things that put it all together. So with every piece it puts it all together.
Okay, so I think these two examples of paintings done by students are great reflections of what I was trying to get across, which is that you can learn the same Torah and have a totally different way of visualizing it and understanding it. So here's I think they're both beautiful paintings. This one is done by Avi, and this Avi Small, and this is Simone Morocco. Sorry for embarrassing you guys. But okay, let me just explain Avi. So we have been learning an article about chesed. What is the true nature of chesed, after analyzing and looking at rabbinic sources and Torah sources. And then we culminated the unit with an excellent article written by Rabbi Berger. So Avi's way of conceptualizing this is through this really cool abstract image, where his idea is that these colors are extremely complementary of each other, and they actually bring out the best of each other. The hues and the shade and the place where these colors are on the color wheel really enhance each other, and it's actually a beautiful design. And he was trying to express this idea that true chesed is helping bring out someone else's potential. That is the highest form of chesed. So, and this is how Avi conceived of that. This is how Simone understood it, through the hands, right? So she has this representative of God, this smaller hand reaching out, which is, ultimately expressing the idea that all chesed comes from God, and then the bigger hand helping this smaller hand achieve its potential as well, and the movement is upwards to show the intention of trying to push oneself upwards, always going back to the hand of God. For me, also, just to speak about the process of this image, Simone can completely attest to the fact that I drove her crazy. She reiterated this piece about 3 or 4 times, and it was actually really challenging because drawing is not her comfort zone, but she was able to find a style that reflected both her idea and also played up her talents, and the starkness and almost the rudimentariness of it really gets to what Simone was trying to express here. And for me, this is a great way to challenge a student to think outside of their comfort zone while still going back to the Torah, going back to a very abstract, complex idea, and highlighting her understanding of it or his understanding of it in a very abstract, sophisticated kind of way, and I'm extremely proud of these students.
You're able to, when you're just learning it like from like Chumash and or whatever, like Medrash, you only get like the understanding from the book. You don't think about it as much. You don't think about how this can relate to like parts of your life or like things that you can draw that are in everyday lives. It just adds like an aspect of like creativity to the Chumash.
So I did everything really textured and grainy, and we were talking about how in the ketubah you're not like promising to be perfect. Like there'll be a lot of like bumps, but you're just promising to like sacrifice and love each other. Like this picture.
Nice.
A lot of bumps in it. It's not perfect, but it's pretty. It's happy.
I would recommend it, but I would recommend it to some people, but for this class, you have to like want to. You have to like want to do the art and want to put in the effort. Like I'm not specifically amazing at like drawing or painting or whatever. So like you have to like put in a little bit of effort to produce something that's semi-okay, that like you're happy with. Mm-hmm. So like I would recommend it to someone that wants to put in the effort, but I wouldn't recommend it for someone who's not interested in putting in any effort. Like
Give me a way to like put Judaism and like values that are written in the Torah into like one overall value and just display it.
Think about for the person who this is their way, this is their prime way of learning, and it's their best way, and this is how they do it. Think about how they feel sitting through tons of classes about tests and papers when maybe that's how you're best at learning, is you write papers, you take tests. Maybe it's important to see the other side, how other people learn. See that like sometimes people are better in different sections of life, sections of school.
Robo never lets your first painting be good enough. Like I did a first painting, like I sketched it with watercolor, and she's like, Simone, it can be so much better on paint, like in paint on a canvas. And then I redid the whole thing, and it's so much better. And you never would have gotten that second painting if she didn't make you redo the first one.
We had to draw something that represents a certain value of chesed, and I drew a sky with a tzedakah box at the bottom, and money was falling down into the tzedakah box. And my example of chesed was God gives to those who give. So the money is like those who give, the money will come from God and give back to them in return.
I think painting makes you help you remember a lot. I look back at my paintings and I like remember some of the commentaries on them. Like I had like an ombre painting, and I remember like why I made it ombre, what we were learning about, and I think that when I look back on them, I'll be able to remember a lot more of what I was learning.
To express learning in different ways, that if you make something, it can still be as meaningful, and you can still learn as much as if you write a paper, if you do or like take a test. It's still learning. It's just like a different kind of learning.
They are really starting to become creative thinkers, and seeing that play out with the art that these students are creating adds a completely different level to the education they're getting.
For me, the art is just the hook to get the students to access the Torah that I was teaching from a different angle.